Hey guys, welcome to the Brown Bag Podcast where I talk New Orleans Saints. This time around, I'll be previewing our Sunday matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Along with Andrus Peat still being out, Teron Armstead and Will Clapp are listed as questionable, essentially meaning that whether or not they'll be able to play will be a game time decision. Even without those two, I don't think it'll be an all-out sack fest for the 49ers, but there are going to be a lot of times in this game where Brees is going to get some heavy pressure in the pocket. In those situations, Brees has to do a good job protecting the ball. Don't fumble. Don't throw these guys an interception. If nothing's open, just take the sack and live for the next down. We can't throw these guys a bone. We can't put the defense in awkward situations where they have to keep the Niners out of the end zone when they're starting at our own 20-yard line. We have to make the Niners fight for every yard they get. So, Brees in particular, but to the whole offense, we can't turn over the ball. Moving on to my next point, this goes more so towards the coaching staff. Peyton, don't be afraid to use the run game. The Niners have an amazing defensive line, but their rushing defense is ranked 21st in the entire league. Don't let this defense force us to become one-dimensional. If getting an effective rushing attack means incorporating Taysom Hill into a few plays, then do that. These past few games, we haven't been running the ball as many times as we should have. That needs to change, Peyton. Don't get away from the running game. Moving on to my next point, all of our receivers got to step up. Teams all over the league know Michael Thomas is our main receiving option. So the 49ers, without a doubt, are going to exploit that. Kamara has been effective in the receiving game, and Jared Cook has definitely been growing these past few weeks. We're going to need a great game from both of them in the receiving category. But Traquan Smith and Ted Ginn got to step up as well. I'm not expecting them to have a huge game. They're not Michael Thomas. They're not Jared Cook. They're not going to have a 10-reception, 108-yard game. That's not what I'm expecting from them. But what they need to be is a threat. When Brees throws passes their way, they need to catch the ball. They need to establish themselves as someone the 49ers has to pay attention to, so Michael Thomas isn't getting double-teamed the whole game. Make them respect you. Having a serviceable game won't be enough. Finishing with 2 receptions for 14 yards isn't going to be enough. We need a solid 5-reception game from both of these guys. They need to be reliable. That's all I have to say on the offense. Moving on to the defense, we're going to be missing Kiko Alonso, which really sucks because he's been just adding to this amazing defensive line, and him being out, it really sucks. But even without him, I believe that our defensive line will come to play. I believe that they'll be able to generate pressure on Garoppolo and they'll be able to sack him a few times. I'm not concerned about that. What I am concerned about is the rushing defense. The 49ers have a committee of effective running backs. Along with Tevin Coleman, the former Falcon, and Matt Breida being very effective for the Niners running attack, Rahim Moore, who's been fairly serviceable all year, had a huge game against the Baltimore Ravens, finishing with nearly 150 yards on the ground off of 19 carries. Keep in mind that the Baltimore Ravens have the number 6 rushing defense in all of the NFL. So this isn't something to be overlooked. The Saints really need to stop the run this game. If we let them run all over us, it's not game over, but when you're rushing the ball a lot, you can do a couple things. You can throw little fakes at the defense, like a play action that can open up a lot of things downfield. So it's not going to be game over, but it will put us at a huge disadvantage on defense. We got to shut down that run, no matter what. Cam Jordan, Shy Tuttle, Sheldon Rankins, Demario Davis, we need you guys to be strong up there. Moving on to the secondary for a quick minute. No huge penalties. I'm specifically looking at Eli Apple when I'm talking about this, but this goes for the secondary as a whole. The defensive line, I trust them. I trust they'll be able to generate pressure on Garoppolo. But we can't kill the defensive line. We can't kill our whole team because we're playing sloppy. We can't give up 20 to 30 yards because of some dumb pass interference penalty. We got to play disciplined, and we got to play smart. It's just as simple as that. Lastly, I want to touch on the special teams just for a quick second. Will Lutz, of course, we're going to need a huge game from you. Deontay Harris is playing this game, which is huge because Deontay Harris's speed when he first touches that ball is amazing. We need Harris to set the offense up with great field position. We cannot have drives that start off with us being deep in our own territory. Against this 49ers pass rush, it's going to be pretty suffocating to try and make something happen when we're practically in our own end zones. Depending on how great our field position is, we'll decide whether or not we score on most of our drives. If he could get a punt return or a kick return and take it into the end zone, that'd be great. But at the very least, we need him to supply us with a cushion between us and our own end zone. So yeah, that just about wraps up everything I have to say on what we need to do. I believe that this will be a close game, just like the Ravens versus 49ers game. Maybe a bit more scoring because from what I saw, there was like some raining and the turf conditions were pretty bad on that day. So there will probably be a bit more scoring. It'll probably be like 17-24, 31-24, something of that nature. I guess 31-24 isn't that low scoring of a game, but yeah, somewhere between the mid-20s sounds about right. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on the game. Thank you for checking out this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't, check out my Twitter, and until next time, Brown Bag signing out. This is for the #1 seed, guys. Let's win this thing.